Alright. Yeah, we do have a second match, alright. Did I already go through all this? I think I did. Yeah. So I have to turn the clock around again. Normally, they usually have grass types. And no exception here with Oddish.
Hello, kitty.
Pretty sure Butter's part poison. Yep. Oh, no freezing. Zero Jigglypuff. Oh, Heartstone Psychic, okay. I think Clefairy also is more special defensive than this one. I'm pretty sure. I think Clefable's line is defensive in general, though. You can get rid of Pluck. Alright, this dude. Ah, yes, I see. They have changed. Pikachu's cry to match with the current games where it is just its name with the anime voice. Damn. This is good for now. Put that down. Everything's leveling up today. We don't need Fury Swipes. I had a feeling that no paralysis wasn't going to last forever. Jack's on my lap, getting some back rubs. He's being very needy today. Fisherman. Drizzle. Boy, that sure does look like a water type. Should not have done that one. Oh, okay, it's fine. Star you. Oh, effects port went off. Oh, asleep. Ouch. Let's set up the Pokemon Center. Get our shit healed. I don't remember what the next one is. You know what? I think I know what it is. I know what it is. But he's not hiding, so I think I know which one it is what's next. For the Trickmaster puzzle room thing. Bug Nibble. Pretty sure it's bug fighting type. At least it becomes bug fighting type. Oh, it's gone now. But yeah. This works. I did pick up that grass ball. We could probably try that on Oddish here. See how well this works out. Alright. Oh. That baby's probably not going to survive that. Rush Tomp. Oh, a Brave Bird? Oh yeah, there's no way in hell Smoochum was surviving that. Takedown. Sure, I guess. Because we don't need HMs, so I won't need Rock Smash for anything, really. I'm gonna assume that's the fire type Ponyta. Rush Tomp should still be fine. Yeah, it is. Okay. It's Kintonian Ponyta. We can probably Water Pulse that and it'll go away. Everything levels up. Good. Wilmer? Oh, that's not like Shinotic. Absolutely. Probably. We'll start with Strength Sap. Oh. Sorry, what? I did not read that move. What? It was attack to heal health and then drops attack. What? Oh, maybe it raises... Okay. It could be that it heals both of them, but it lowers Wilmer's attack stat at the same time. Or what it's supposed to do, maybe. And effect support. Okay, let's find out. Let's find out. We're in a position to know now. No, okay, so it does heal Shinotic, but yeah, Wilmer still loses, still gets their attack down. So the game is just not displaying the correct text. That's what it is. All right. I was wondering why is it showing the speed up graphic and saying HP road and all that weird. Whatever. We're past it now. Grovile. Bureau. So I don't trust Smoochum to survive against Grovile. Smoochum is still a baby. Item finder. That's really weak, so I don't need that. Electric. Electric types are always handy. Okay, this is getting annoying now. It's doing the thing again. Okay, there we go. Thank God. Why is it so hard to get that thing just to go? Here we go. We got a psychic, and I think this is a collector. Cubone and Morgrove. Okay, put him down. Yeah, probably shouldn't have done that. Ooh, Galarian Ponytail. Oof. We have Kadabra and Lumbre. Ever down, that's good. That competitive, man. Okay, no sleeve. Oh, that's the best one. I see, we have a problem now. Alright. Gone. Problem solved. How does Symmetra normally evolve? It's friendship, isn't it? If it's friendship, that is going to mean Symmetra is going to be kind of annoying to deal with. See. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it evolves by friendship, just because it's a Gen 2 baby, and I think all of them evolve by friendship. No, okay, it evolves by level. Alright, that's good. Well, it's level 30, so we're well on our way. And I know Gothita suffers from the Unova problem of evolving way too damn late, so that 30 is kind of just going to have to sit there. Ouch. We now have the HM for Rock Smash. Alright, Wally, let's see what you got. A bird! I don't think Fletchender is fire type yet, is it? Oh, it is? Okay, then. Shit. Yeah, about what I expected. Fire flying type. No, we can do Furo. Furo's fast. Hopefully fast enough. You bitch. you're gonna be one of those motherfuckers. Well, now you're dead. That's what you get. Me without my ice type. I don't have any fairy types. Make things easy. Oh, I do have a fairy type. Well, don't have any fairy type moves, I guess, right now. I think Gibble's Dragon Ground, so Shiinotic should still be okay. That and Shiinotic's kind of tanky. With Effect Spore. Or do I not have any revives? Nah, I guess not. Oh well. Sleep powder for the win. I expect Spore. I see that Curly has got stuff going on, alright. We'll confuse that one first. There we go. Just in case, we might need to. Oh, we're playing this game now, are we? Damn. Your defenses are bad. Oh my god. What check? What? It's our boy Scott. It's Scotty. Okay, let's go heal up. Now, if we put Marshtomp in front, we should be able to just walk through the gym. And a kid and electric. Thunderwave is going to be annoying. You're joking. Do Rock Slide to finish off Elekid. We'll try for another Psybeam to deal with Voltorb. Damn. Almost took it out on its own. Future Sight. Nah, I don't think I'll need that. Get rid of Fury Attack. Okay, down to the last one. Down last two, okay. Electabuzz and Electric. Electric has Levitate. We kind of already know what we have to do here. Electabuzz out. Odor. Okay. Okay, that's a big hit. Critical hit, good. And confused, also good. Like that, I want to minimize my recoil damage as much as possible. Joltik. Alright. Electric Bug. Grubben is another bug. I don't think it's quite electric type, but it is a bug all the same. Stunfisk. Ground electric type. The double battle. The Museum Blitzel. Oh dear. Deal with the Musée first. Whatever that's worth. And then... Oh! Of course, a crit on the electric one. Giga Drain. Oh, Jesus. Also, yeah, Mega Drain's got the wrong icon on it. But alright. Chin Chow. Why did I do that? I should have... Bad choices. Well, okay, it took the turn to heal itself, so I at least didn't really lose anything on that. You go draining down it goes. Jolteon. Okay. We'll Rock Slide again and Giga Drain Jolteon. Damn it. That's gonna suck. Easy down. What, kitty? What do you... See, I'm still shocked at how much damage Marshtomp is doing with that. Earthquake's gonna be fucking horrifying. The amount of damage that thing will do. Yep. Now it's the Rock Slide unrestrained. No, no, kitty, no. You jumped up on my desk. I don't want him to do that, because there are things he can knock over that I don't want him to knock over. Oh, Gothitell's evolving. I think it should be Gothitell. Is it then? I think Gothitell's the next line. Alpharita, okay. Hey, Al. I'm doing alright. How about you, sir? One minute. There we go. Yeah, I'm doing alright. Fuck it. Gotta up. Well, that fucking sucks. I update these images anyway. And now we have a Jinx. Just a bit too hot this week? Yeah, it's been hot everywhere. I got sunburned last week. Oh yeah, I forgot that's what Jinx ended up looking like. Okay. Looks like I don't have anything to remedy the paralysis. Hang on. So you. This and you are now this. Perfect. Right. Oh, that's all updated. Yeah, I've been doing pretty alright. Got to hang out with my girlfriend yesterday. That was a lot of fun. Bold move to have your electrode explode on turn 1. With an air balloon? Oh, you motherfucker. How dare you honestly plan things? There's accuracy. I've still been enjoying my Switch 2. F-Zero GX. I unlocked most of the racers. I still need to unlock Deathborn and then all the arcade racers, which that's going to be a struggle. And I've started on Soul Calibur 2. You have 1 week vacation from the 30th of June. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, I only get vacation days, and unfortunately for me, most of my vacation days have been getting eaten by having to bring my furry child to the doctor to let me know how best to take care of him so he doesn't die by food. Yeah, it is what it is. I am trying to have like days where I can still like go do things, but not 100% certain on how often that'll be. They gave Flappy Fire Punch? What on... Are they planning for me to bring swine up? Why would you be a fire punch? Like, goddamn. And of course, Fluffy's got leftovers. Luckily, Fluffy's slow, so Rush Time's able to still do things somewhat. Rotom, Electric Ghost. Unless they put it in something. Put it in something that's electric, whatever. If I remember right, I think this is Rotom Cut. I think this is the lawnmower. I don't have any fire types. I don't have any fire or bugs. The Fearow is dangerous to put in that scenario. I think Lantern is just my best option here. Oh, it's just regular. Oh shit! Is that regular Rotom? I think that's regular Rotom. Well, next best option. Volt Switch, yeah, that's what I thought, bitch. Okay, now I think Rotom has Levitate for its ability. Which means that Mudshot won't work on it. So. I see. It is also fast. Oh my god. And of course I do a bad job. Keeping this alive. So that's Ominous Wind, it's Ghost, Ancient Power. Well, that sucks. I don't have. Actually, I do have Faint Attack, but Gothorita is also slow. Okay, Thunder Wave is fine. I can take Thunder Wave. I'll deal with having to flip a coin. Damn it. Never mind. Oh, it missed? God, I get nothing. The game throws me a break and I still bungle on the paralysis check. Oh. Yeah, it's regular Rotom, Electric Ghost. Baby doll eyes. God damn it. Damn. Liner, this Browns is mean now. What? It wasn't this bad before. What the hell happened? But does he only have those two left? Goddamn priority moves. Oh, for fuck's sake. How many potions did they give him? He has to run out eventually. Oh, and of course, that's when I missed. That's when I missed of all fucking times. Time when it matters the most. Did he finally run out? You finally out of super potions? Oh, of course. He had one more thing besides Rotom and Luxio. God knows what that thing is. Oh, fuck. Thunderwave, fine, you goddamn bastard. You still have potions! What the fuck? This is why most actual games only give the gym leaders like one potion. Maybe two. When you don't balance it right, shit like this happens. I mean, Electric, oh dear. I think that's his Mega. Because I think at this point, like this time or around this time, Mega Evolutions start showing up. And it's always the gym leader's ace, whatever the last mon is. At least United can tank these things well enough. And I can't get burned because I'm already paralyzed. Now it's this Rotom to deal with. See if I can put it to sleep. Damn it. Confused? Of course, this bitch has that as well. Confuse Ray, Thunder Wave, Ominous Wind, and Volt Switch. I'm actually kind of surprised it wants to spam Ominous Wind that much. Because Ominous Wind is basically a ghost type ancient power, so it has a chance of raising all of its users' stats. Including the attack stat, which would be very dangerous for that Rotom. Okay, down it goes. For some reason I thought Ghost resisted grass. Now I have the Dynamo badge. We get Shockwave and a pickaxe, so we don't actually need Rock Smash anymore. Oh god. So we can go over to Verdant Turf. Let's be on the way there. There's our daycare to breed. Right where it always was. Let's put Jinx. And Firo in the front, they need XP. Burrit and Lopunny. Come on. The goddamn berry holders. Oh dear. 2, 3, okay. You finished Exhibition 33? Well, that's good to hear. The next update made it a bit too easy for parrying and dodging. Well... They probably intended for it to be at least not asinine. So maybe they thought that enough of the community was complaining about it that it was warranted. And I still don't have it, but I imagine usually changes like that are made for that reason. They think that their core audience is having a hard time. You finished it before the update? Neat! That's something you get to brag about. Okay, that's a breeder. Yeah, no, I only just finished Stranger Paradise like a few weeks ago. I know it's an old game, but I never finished it until a few weeks ago. It was really good. I liked it a lot, especially with since I had played Final Fantasy 1 beforehand. That kind of makes the game a lot more enjoyable when you kind of understand what's going on with it and why certain decisions are made. Yeah, that was a good time. I also just bought the Twilight Princess manga, the manga based on Zelda Twilight Princess, and I finished that not too long ago, and that was really good. That was really good. It made me wish that it wasn't tied directly to a video game. We could have more of it. Is it good? Yeah, it's really good. So the Twilight Princess manga, they give... it's the longest out of any Zelda manga. So most of the mangas based on Zelda games are 1 volume, 2 if you're lucky. So like the Oracle games were both together in 1. Four Swords was 2. Ocarina of Time was 2. Majora's Mask was 1. Pretty much all of them were like that. But Twilight Princess was 11. Yeah, Twilight Princess. Yeah, it's a good game. I like that. That's my favorite Zelda. And it has a really good manga. Really good at adapting the game. They do make some changes, obviously, narrative distinctions and stuff. Like they give Link a backstory. They create an entire arc of character development specifically for Link, which is pretty unusual even for the Zelda mangas. Most of the time, Link doesn't have much of an arc if anything, usually he's relatively stagnant in terms of how his character is written. Usually the biggest change he has is, I guess, a change of status, where he goes from, like, loser to hero or whatever. But that's usually the most of it. They actually gave Link a character arc in the Twilight Princess manga. And yeah, they did some really cool ideas. Like, they made use of Dark Link in the manga. The original game doesn't use Dark Link really much at all. He's just a stand-in for some other group of people. You know, the manga, Dark Link has an actual purpose for when he shows up. They go really hard into shipping Link and Midna together. They go really hard with it. Which I'm not too surprised about. I know the Link and Midna ship was very popular. It's still popular, but it was very popular already when the game came out. The Hero Shade also has much more of a purpose. Instead of just being there to teach Link special moves, he actually has something of a narrative purpose. He's more directly tied into what's going on. And so a lot of people also pointed out that in terms of gameplay for Twilight Princess, that Link is the strongest, physically the strongest Link that we've probably ever seen. But in the manga, they also make him arguably the smartest, as they do show that he is actually, like, he's able to, like, read arcane text and study magic. Poster for a new tactical RPG called Super Robot Wars. Why? I'm aware of the Super Robot Wars games. I'm aware of them. I'm just not particularly interested in them because I don't know, like, any of the franchises they're from, they're using. I know, like, fucking nothing. So it doesn't really have a draw for me. He learned all these moves with the mask. He learned them all with the Hero Shade. Well, no, I mean, not just those. We're not talking about just the Hero Shade moves. We're also talking about just the things he does that no other Link does, like sumo wrestling with a Goron and winning. Got him able to, well, use the same basic principle to herd goats and wrangle them. He's the only Link, I think. No, Skyward Sword Link also wrangles his mount as well, so we do see that happen only one time. Twilight Princess Link carries around a ball and chain, which are both super heavy in their own right. So, like, Twilight Princess Link is already physically strong. They also make him very smart. Especially since I think in the Ocarina of Time manga, Link never uses the spells in that manga, if I remember correctly. I don't think he ever uses the spells. So, yeah, this is also, I think, the closest we get to a manga Link that knows magic of some sort. Oh, damn. They also give Midna sort of more to her backstory, where they make her like a childhood friend of Zelda's. Just to try and expand on her a little bit more. We do see, we do see a little bit more of Link talking to animals as a wolf. And yeah, like I said, they lean super hard into the Link and Midna shipping, where I'm pretty sure at the end of it they mean to imply that Link is decided that he wants, that he's decided Midna is his waifu for lifeu, and everybody else can fuck themselves. Because at the end of the day, they imply that Ilia doesn't get with Link, she gets with one of the other guys. And of course, Link and Zelda were never a romantic interest in that game. Yeah, they also get very dark with the imagery relative to other Zelda mangas. Because all of the mangas, of course, feature Link going around doing his things, but most of them are targeted at like maybe like 10-year-olds. So Nintendo is kind of strict on what they can and can't show. Twilight Princess got published differently for a different audience, so Nintendo sort of like let the reins off and let go of the reins. And boy, did those people, did they use that freedom. Like one of the first things you see, so in Twilight Princess at the beginning, when King Bulblin kidnaps the children, they knock Link out by giving him a clock on the head with a club, and just give him a little bonk, and then he takes a little nap. Manga's interpretation of this is Bulblin cuts off Link's arm, and they leave him to bleed to death in the spring instead. So they do that. They go for things. They, beyond that though, they also handle. Oh yeah, they also make Zant into a thing. They gave, one of the criticisms of Twilight Princess is that Zant has like no real character. Like his entire motivation is undermined by the guy who replaces him. I guess they sought to correct that problem. They basically made Zant a pedophile in the manga. It's fucking bizarre, and it shows up right at the very end. And it's like, what the hell? I get this man away. Like, yeah, he needs to fucking die. And they also do establish, at least in Twilight Princess's manga, when they do the battle with Ganondorf, they pretty much establish that Ganon is kind of immortal. And I don't mean in the sense of every time you kill him, he reincarnates to come back. I mean, like, he can't die unless he chooses to. Because, so, during the battle, of course, Zelda gets the light arrows, and he gets shot with them. Doesn't kill him, just weakens him. Apparently, it removes his magic temporarily. Oh, yeah. So it removes his magic temporarily, but he's not dead. So he has a duel with Link, and it ends pretty much the way it does in the game, with Link stabbing Ganondorf through the chest with the Master Sword. And this also doesn't kill him. Ganondorf just stands back up with the sword still in his chest. Just a monologue about how his Triforce of Power makes it so that he can't die, basically, until people no longer desire power, which of course will never happen. So he basically just decides that he's done. He's satisfied with the fight that he's had. And then, according to Zelda, he chooses to snuff out his own life with his magic. He just elects to die, and so does. The heroes didn't win, Ganondorf just gave up. Alright, superpower shit. There we are. Okay. Let's see, another one there somewhere. You know, it gets wild at some points. They make a whole new area. They make a whole new town. They give Link an actual backstory, where he's not from Orden originally. He's from somewhere else. Yeah, it was still a fun time. I would recommend buying it. They had to in every Zelda Link story is pretty short and blanks. They had to build more. Yes, all of them get their own. Well, so no, actually, with the Zelda mangas, the most amount of original development they do, generally speaking, is they more or less have Link do some degree of narration and speaking with people just to like cart him from one place to the next. They usually just sort of pace it out like that because they're only allotted, again, 1 or 2 volumes at most, and it's usually just to get it on like an anniversary or something. With this one, with Twilight Princess is the only time that Nintendo kind of like let the reins off for most of it. So like in Majora's Mask manga, for instance, the most amount of original content that gets put in is within the narrative of the game itself. The most amount of original content we get is Link and Tattle arguing every now and then, and some sequences with the people that you normally help. So like the Gorons, Azoras, those sequences are like very slightly tweaked, but involve the same steps to get to the same location. And then after that, the only big thing that they do is after the main story, and they do an original non-canon, basically a theory, a myth of how the Majora's Mask was actually created. And it's not canon, though there are some people who mistakenly believe it is for reasons. But yeah, so that's like the most around originality Majora's Mask has. Everything else is about the same, and it actually kind of gets rushed in some places. You read the Breath of Fire 4 manga a long time ago. I didn't know Breath of Fire actually got manga adaptations either. Then again, I also have not played most of the Breath of Fire games. I played a little bit of Breath of Fire 1, and that's it. Yeah, so that's all that I did. Was I played most of Breath of Fire 1. I played a little bit of Breath of Fire 1. That was it. Yeah, so Majora's Mask only gets like the myth, and that's about it for original content. Ocarina of Time. So Ocarina of Time did have some original bits, but mostly just to. Most of Ocarina of Time's original bits were usually just to try and like make an encounter more meaningful than it was originally. So just offhand, from what I remember from the Ocarina of Time manga, they make it so that Link and Volvagia, the dragon in the Fire Temple, makes it that those two had a relationship beforehand, where Volvagia was Link's pet, I guess, for a little while, before it turned evil and tried to kill people. I think about that's the only important thing that they added. Four Swords, like the entire thing is an original story, because Four Swords almost doesn't have one. So they kind of got off easy on that one. They're basically just told, make it age appropriate, and then you're done. So yeah, Four Swords has like no story in its game, so the manga, they got to do pretty much an all original story, but even then it's still very trope based. So you kind of feel like you've seen it before, even if you haven't. Trying to think. I know I didn't read the Oracle's games manga. Yeah. So I've read Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and the Four Swords ones. Yeah, but yeah, Twilight Princess does add quite a bit original to it. And I think it was, again, just because Nintendo said, this is aimed at teens and it's being published online only, so you probably don't have to do that. You probably don't have to worry about censoring yourself very much. Oh, this weirdo. Yeah, Twilight Princess manga is worth checking out. It's 11 volumes. It is 11 volumes. And it's not cheap either, by the way. I don't know if this manga is particularly rare or was in a short print, but it is expensive. The box cost me $100, so that's around 10 to 11 US. Yeah, I think it was technically. I think after everything, it was closer to $110 with final pricing. So that's about $10 per book. And I know that a lot of individual mangas pricing varies depending on like length and what they're based on. So sometimes they generally go from like 7. I've seen like anywhere from like 7 to 12. Again, based on length and property. So that might be a deal. It might not be. I'm not sure. But all the same, it is nice for it to be there. Yeah, well, I've never played any of the Breath of Fire games. I think I do want to. It's like I said, I played a little bit of Breath of Fire 1, and I thought it was pretty alright. My biggest source of confusion was the symbols on everything, because for some reason I'd like to use symbols instead of words on menus, and that confused the fuck out of me. Oh god, it's Ash. You know, I have, yeah, they added Ash. Yeah, he showed up a while ago. We saw him, we battled him at, Rustboro. We first saw him back at Birch's lab. So yeah, this isn't a new thing. Ash has been around. He just doesn't show up all that often. He only shows up in specific places. And yeah, Ash isn't the only trainer that they added. They added, the other protagonists as well. So like we've got Leaf is here, Ethan is here, which Ethan is the canonical name for the gold protagonist. I always thought Ash was like red in the manga. Nope. Ash and Red are wholly different. Especially since I'm pretty sure I can generally trust Red to know what to do in a fight. I don't know if I could ever trust Ash to know what to do in anything. That, and I don't think Ash has ever had his life canonically in danger in the Pokemon anime. I know in the movies he's nearly died a few times, but also those are the movies. And they suffer from anime movie syndrome of never being canon to anything. He became world champion in the end. Yeah, I'd heard that. I think it was it Journeys? I think like, yeah, they ended Journeys with him finally becoming a champion. Which, I mean, that's neat, I guess, but they're still moving on with the new series, which is fine. I think they should have been using new protagonists a long time ago. Goddamn that Focus Ash. Yeah, I mean that's all fine. But no, Red in the manga I think is a much more reliable character. And again, that man nearly died. He was already a Lolas champion. Then why did they let him keep going? Because that was like their only justification of Ash still going places every season, was because he would always fight the League and then never win. Well, I know Journeys was after the Sun and Moon season. I know that. I'm just wondering why he was still traveling. Their whole deal was that Ash never wins a Pokemon League, and that was why he was still going. Okay, gotta update the thing. Right. Have been in this one yet? Not yet. Oh, Pink Capricorn. Alright. Very good for Pokemon anime. It's different from other seasons. I do know that was when they changed animation studios. I know that much. They changed studios, and that came with a lot of differences. I had heard. I've seen like individual bits, but not full episodes. Mostly because I haven't like watched the anime in years. Like the closest I get is every now and then I'll like turn on a playlist and like watch a few episodes, but that's about it. And even then, usually I'm trying to like go work my way upwards. We're gonna go up. Oh, that was a double battle. Oops. Yeah, no, I didn't really care. I don't really care much for the Pokemon anime. Haven't in years. Like, I think it's fine for like. I think it's fine for its target audience. It's fine for kids. I don't have a problem with that. But I think also like it in general, it definitely never aimed higher. At least not for a while. It certainly never aimed higher. So like I generally prefer the manga. It's like yeah, that's got juvenile moments in it, of course, but it's at least aimed at a slightly older audience, of like 12-year-olds, not 8-year-olds. Wait. All right. Drill pack. Finally, I was wondering when that was going to show up. Alright. Whoop. Poor cat. Ash never grew old, but for example, in Digimon, there's made tree of image heroes going up as adults. Yeah, that's been also a source of well, not controversy. Criticism. A source of criticism of the Pokemon anime as well. And it's not new. It's been around since at least maybe Johto or Advanced Battle. Was the complaint that Ash never grows up at all. He's been 10 years old for 20 years. Is the general way it's framed. And yeah, Digimon also, it kind of guns for the same audience, but Digimon's anime has also had very different restrictions put on it by its company. And that's just because I'm pretty sure that's a Namco. I think Namco's the one that owns Digimon. They're basically just being Namco and not making sense half the time. At least now Ash is gone. Yeah, I was happy to hear Ash is finally not the protagonist anymore. It's because it's like, God. Like, God, either make him smart or leave him the fuck alone. What? He can't be 10 years old for 30 years. Lava. Basically, moved to get rid of him for so many years, people were attached to him. People were nostalgic for Ash. They weren't really attached to him. Let's not forget let's not forget the reason why Ash was the protagonist for so long was specifically for that reason, was because they were worried that kids wouldn't keep watching the show if they had a new protagonist every region. Because originally that was the idea, was that they were going to have a new protagonist every region. And that's why Ash's original design looks pretty similar to Red's original concept design. They were originally going to have new protagonists every season who generally your new anime protagonist would kind of look like. But they were worried that if they did that, kids wouldn't attach themselves to the identity as hard. So by having one protagonist who moves from region to region to region, kids can just can latch onto that character, they'll know who he is, and then they'll follow the show, they can merchandise and do everything and all that sort of thing. All that business magic. But the problem, and where that other risk comes in, is people aren't kids forever. People do have to grow up eventually. And one of the reasons, and the thing is that people, like, nostalgia is a thing. There is a nostalgia factor to everything. But also, it's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult with Pokemon just because it ended up with a relatively universal appeal. It did attract children. It managed to retain a lot of them into adulthood, and it still attracts newer kids as well. But I feel like the anime, though, never, at least for the longest time, the anime never understood this or even latched onto it as an idea. Like, it was originally written to attract 8 to 10 year olds, because that's why Ash is 10 years old. The target audience of the show is 10. So they kind of did that, and that was fine for your first 1, 2, 3 seasons. There's maybe a couple years, yeah, you can do that and not have to worry about it. But the problem is that kids don't stay kids forever. So as kids got older, they weren't watching anymore because the show never grew up with them. It never even acknowledged they were growing up. So to that end, it's like it was kind of, people are coming but no one is staying, I guess, to try and make like a metaphor that makes sense. That people show up but they don't stay. And the only adults who are in that audience are the people who remember how much fun they had when it was their turn. And generally speaking, they're only sticking with the stuff they remember and not the new stuff. Because the new stuff is different. And, like, why would I do that when I've got stuff that I like here? I already know what's it. So, I kind of feel like they did themselves, long term, I think they did a disservice to themselves by not having new protagonists. Because I think if they did that, if they had new protagonists that cycled through every couple seasons, they would probably have been able to make, maybe encapsulate larger audiences. Especially because they do kind of do that with Ash's companions. Because Ash's companions cycle around. Not particularly often, but they cycled. And so but they would do nostalgic throwbacks where they would bring them back for like an episode or two and do a crossover, and that usually brings in people. Like, there's a lot of people who watch those episodes just for that. And I think that would have been cooler. I think that would have been better if they had focused on doing that instead. So like every couple of years you get a new protagonist, and then you just have like a nostalgic throwback episode every now and then. So you can at least acknowledge that, yes, there are older people who will at least have an interest in these episodes, and we can acknowledge them by having those characters age up. And we can still have the new protagonist for the current audience, which is who we actually care about. Like, probably... So Johto and Kanto are neighbors, so I think that having Ash through to the end of Johto would have been fine. Then maybe Hoenn, we get a new protagonist, just for example. We get a new protagonist in Hoenn. But we have like a couple episodes where we see a slightly older Ash. Maybe he's like 12 or 13 now. But he's still like on the journey of still trying to catch everything. And he knows a little bit, but he can still knows a little bit. He still has a lot to learn, but you can still like have him come back and do that. And then maybe for Sinnoh, you can bring back Ash, and maybe you find out Ash is a gym leader now, or you find out that he won the Pokemon League, and then next time you see him, maybe in Unova, you find out he's a gym leader, and things can go on like that. We can have his developments. You can still have nostalgic throwbacks, but you still have new protagonists to maintain what they ultimately want, which is merchandising to children. Things that keep Ash, allow them to make the movies. A few of them are pretty nice. They were going to make the movies anyway. That's the thing, is they were going to make the movies anyway. Just that is the nature of the sheer merchandising giant that the Pokemon franchise and anime, more or less by extension, was. It was like, yeah, they were going to make movies anyway. That's not... I don't think Ash being the protagonist had anything necessarily to do with that. Because don't forget, too, we also got an entire arc with an original region simply because they needed time for Gold and Silver to come out. That is the entirety of the Orange Islands. Gold and Silver wasn't out yet, so they made the Orange Islands to buy themselves time. Or at least it wasn't out long enough, probably. So it was, yeah. They've done things before. And Ash didn't even need to be the... Well, Ash... Okay, so for Orange Islands, Ash definitely needed to be the protagonist, just for retention's sake. Like I said, Johto is a neighbor of Kanto, so I think that would have just made sense to do it there too, but definitely starting with Hoenn onwards, they probably could have done other people. And started having cycling protagonists. Okay. So we'll just Water Pulse and then probably take that again. should make a game about Ash, never understood why they never did. Because Ash is not meant to be a real protagonist, or at least not originally. Ash was meant to be the stand-in for the children watching the show. He fulfills the exact same role as every protagonist character in the actual Pokemon games. Like a spin-off, it's the same reason. Ash doesn't have... he's not written to have a real character arc. No, he's not written to have a real character. He's just supposed to be whatever the writers think a 10-year-old is at that time. A lot of what people consider to be Ash's character development, realistically, it's more so isolated moments in the whatever individual season they're at. It's mostly what it is, because Ash's character development kind of just goes with whatever that is. And again, it's largely hinged upon whatever the writers think a 10-year-old acts like, or whatever they think a 10-year-old would like at the time that they're writing it. And there's a very easy way to look at that, and that is with Black and White. The Black and White anime basically reset Ash's brain to 0. And it shows a lot. And they did that because Black and White was supposed to be the big reset of the Pokemon series. They were supposed to have like new protagonists and everything. There's development of Sun and Moon and Journeys. Okay, but that's also like the end. That's also the end of Ash's journey. Probably by the time they were starting Sun and Moon, they had already made the decision they're phasing Ash out. They had probably already made that decision by the time Sun and Moon's production started. Was Ash is going to be gone. So, yeah, of course that's when they're going to finally start doing anything with him, is because that's when they decided he's not going to be around anymore. He's a temporary figure, so now we get to do temporary things. Because that's one of the things that I think hinders the Pokemon anime's performance in nostalgia with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime's performance. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! As an anime has constantly cycled through its protagonists. Every new series gets a new protagonist, usually like a new setting, a new party. Everything about it is new. So when people discuss it, whether it's kids or adults, whenever they discuss it, it's not a matter of which arc of this character is good. It's a matter of which character is good. Because they get the chance to be actual characters. Instead of Ash, who just sort of has whatever the writers decide he is for that season, and that's it. Like, it's why people get to have discussions of, like, who wins in a duel. Would it be Yugi Muto or Yusei Fudo? Would it be Jaden Yuki, or would it be, what's his name? Playmaker from Brains? Like, you get to have that discussion because they get to be actual characters. The closest thing you get to that in the Pokemon anime is, would Ash's Hoenn team beat his Unova team? The answer is probably not, most of the time. But who knows? At the end of the day, it's one character against themselves, and that's kind of not really as fun of a discussion. Especially not considering, like, even in the case of long-running series like Dragon Ball, where Goku's been the protagonist for, again, a similarly long time, like 20, 30 years. But he has they give him substantial tools that make clear distinctions or I say clear distinctions, like arguable distinctions of various points in time of his history as a character and as a person. So, mostly, that's kind of the field that Ash is in, but Ash's power set, to make this as equivalent as possible, debating Ash's teams is like debating Goku's forms. If his form changed his power set 100% completely every time. Or if the only move he ever retained was the Kaioken and everything else was different every time he got a new Super Saiyan form. Like, that's the level of conversation you have to have when you're talking about Ash's different teams. Because the only consistency between them all is Pikachu. Yeah, that's why I generally think that the Yu-Gi-Oh anime is kind of just better, has more longevity to it, only because of, well, this is fueled by those types of discussions. Of you can rerun those things, you can have people talking about different protagonists as actual characters, and that feels a very different kind of nostalgia and a very different kind of discussion than having one protagonist across several series of your franchise. And Digimon falls more in line with the Yu-Gi-Oh thing of because its protagonists change. The discussion more becomes around one protagonist team versus another. But at the same time, Digimon also allows the protagonist to age, and we regularly see them aging whenever they show up or get referenced. So it's also something of it's also much more of a much more mature discussion when it comes to Digimon's protagonists usually. Because Digimon likes to acknowledge the adults in the room every now and then. Like, yeah, at the end of the day, Digimon's primary marketing is the same audience as Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! They're going for the same 10 to 12-year-old range. But Digimon, at least, does understand that there are people there who are a little older and have grown up with the series and like, hey, we got, we'll throw you a bone every now and then. Here's somebody you may remember. Here's a thing that you might have remembered from when you were a kid. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Does this every now and then, but I've noticed they tend to do that more often in movies. They tend to do that more often with like movies and spin-offs and stuff. There's villains from yeah, but again, that's the end. That's the end of Ash's arc. That's when they finally got to do things because they were told he's going away. Although I will say that I do think this is a mistake. I do think probably Sun and Moon. I don't know if I want to call this like to its betterment or not, but one consequence of Ash being the one protagonist means he gets a shit ton of crap where where like by the end of Sun and Moon he was basically Link with the amount of shit that he had to do things with. No, I do think that generally speaking I think that they'll do better if they continue to cycle protagonists instead of reusing the same one. I think they'll do better. I think that'll be better for them in the long run. Because I know that they use the same logic of if we use different protagonists, kids won't attach themselves. That same reasoning is why the American seasons of Power Rangers used the same cast for so long. It was for that literally the exact same reason of they thought if we cycle new characters in, kids won't recognize them or attach themselves to the show. And that yielded interesting problems for them because like it wasn't as bad mostly because they did still try to write in some forms of character development, some forms of character quirks that could have long-term staying power. But it was like a new kind of a problem that they had, mainly because the Japanese show they were adapting did not do this. But just the fact that it was that same sort of deal of, if we change the protagonist, kids won't attach to it. And then when they finally did start changing protagonists, kids had no problem adapting to the new ones. Go. Here's Leaf. A TM for Energy Ball. Alright, I already grabbed it. Throwaway. Oh dear. I need to hit the Pokemon Center. I do at least want to make it to the next town. I think we've got to get Rattle's bikes. Yeah, this is the change that they made for the mod, is that you get to have both the Mach Bike and the Acro Bike at all times. Unlike before, where you'd only have one of them, you have to go to this guy to have them swapped. Acro Bike name because you get to do stunts on it. This may not seem important right now, but there are some things you can only get with the bikes. Should be fine. Oh dear. Hyper potion, you bitch. New area. The fiery path. And nothing spawned. Alright, whatever. Oh, there's a hidden grotto over there. Okay. Gotta go get it. Let's see. Okay. There it goes. Yeah, this was Elliot, right? Yeah. Pointed out the hidden grotto and then proceeded to walk away from it. Kitty cat. Oh dear. Oh, I still have competitive. Oh, that's great. Oh, hang on, Jackie. Oh. I guess you're not kidding. So hard for me to be comfortable with this cat. Red apricorn, okay. Oh, there's Ethan. Secret power. Secret power, let's do the secret base thing that was more of a deal back at the time. Back in the day. I think Furo should be fine for this area. There's only like one thing I can think of that might be a problem. Now Jack is rubbing against my desk.
Damn. Safeguard's not an issue. That ultimately nowhere. I think that cow. Leave any? The route to Fall Arbor Town. Spinda. This is how they interpreted the ash. They made it hail. A choice, to be sure. Hi, kitty. Oh no, should buy a Jinx for that one. Galarian Farfetch. Nummel. Yeah, Vanilla looks a little cross-eyed. Mana. Yo. Yeah, he's gonna try and knock something off my desk again. Oh, there it is. So there's a cave entrance down there. That is a hidden village. I'm going to go in there just so we can try and see it. Slugma. Maybe good to have fire type. Oh. Yeah, that's what I thought would happen. Over here. Oh, right, we need strength. Never mind. Can't go through there yet. That's a hidden village, or the entrance to a hidden village. That one, you can go to buy all the fossils, so you can get all the fossil Pokemon, instead of doing what we would normally have to do, where you get to pick one fossil and that's it. Stunky is poison. I don't remember if it's poison dark, but I know it's poison. We'll get Swampert out. I know Skuntank is poison dark, I think. You have to go, Al? Yeah, no problem. Thanks for stopping by. Alright. We need to Fall Arbor Town. Got a badge, made it to the next town. I'm gonna end things off here. I appreciate you all for watching, and I hope I will